Welcome to Radio 64. Welcome to Radio 64, Video Game Music Remix Radio. I'm your host, Eric Mickles, also known online as duskvstweak. Radio 64 is part of the Radio Meanwhile network. Visit radiomeanwhile.com for more information about this and other great podcasts. Find past episodes of Radio 64 on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And thank you to WRAQ 92.7 FM in Angelica, New York, for hosting us every Monday at 6 p.m. The song you just heard was called Voodoo, Roots, and Grog by Alex Jones and Diggi from ocremix.org. Originally, the game was The Secret of Monkey Island. That's LeChuck's theme, the opening theme, and a bit of Sagat's theme from Street Fighter 2. One of the great tracks of Street Fighter 2 just thrown in there. That song specifically, Voodoo, Roots, and Grog, I love how funky it is. I love how much fun it is while still keeping that kind of pirate theme. It's that trombone. It's just so good. Even though I don't think I connotate trombone with pirates, fits right in. That was actually from the album Heroes vs. Villains, which was an album Overclocked Remix put out in 2011. It really is kind of a showstopper of a track. That was Voodoo, Roots, and Grog by Alex Jones, Diggi Dis from ocremix.org from the game The Secret of Monkey Island, a game I've yet to finish. Up next, we have a remix of Eris Theme from Final Fantasy VII by Nobuo Uematsu. This is called Prayer by MENBAH. And the song starts with the traditional piano playing Ares theme. He comes in with the percussions and the electric guitar. It's a very unique take. So this is Prayer by MENBAH from ocremix.org from the game Final Fantasy VII. That was Prayer by MENBAH from ocremix.org from the game Final Fantasy VII. Probably my second favorite Final Fantasy if I had to choose right now, and I'm picking Final Fantasy VII. It is my second favorite Final Fantasy if I'm not thinking it's Final Fantasy X at the moment. One of my absolute favorite games of all time is Baldur's Gate, and it's still one that I hold most computer RPGs up to. I've recently just started playing the first Witcher game, and I still can't shake comparing it to the 1998 game Baldur's Gate. A game that really changed how I saw computer games. One of these big adventure, sprawling, epic stories I spent a lot of my childhood on the computer just playing Sims or real-time strategy games. I played a lot of Roller Coaster Tycoon, Sim City, Age of Empires, but Baldur's Gate was the first one I think I played all the way through that had just an epic story and a huge cast of characters, and it really kind of set me on a different direction. This song is called Hero of the Heartlands by Scott Buckley from Baldur's Gate. It's remixing Entering Baldur's Gate and the main theme. The main theme was always this very dark orchestral piece by Michael Honig. And this remix, Hero of the Heartlands, just takes that and puts it on the big screen. It makes it this cinematic epic of a piece. So I recognize the main source, the main theme of Baldur's Gate anywhere. I heard that thing play so many times. So this is Hero of the Heartlands by Scott Buckley from ocremix.org from the game Baldur's Gate. was Hero of the Heartlands by Scott Buckley from ocremix.org from the game Baldur's Gate. My wife got me a 4-month subscription to the Criterion Channel streaming service for Christmas. It was such a cool gift. The Criterion Channel has all these older movies, these foreign films, just these really unique, important films throughout cinematic history. And one thing I'm super excited of is for the whole month of January, they have a 70s sci-fi marathon going on. 18 sci-fi films from the 70s. I've seen a couple of them. There's so many there I hadn't even heard of, so I'm just super excited. I recently watched Boy and His Dog, which is a weird film, and I can't say I necessarily liked it, but it was interesting, bizarre, and I really still don't know how I felt about that movie. And that's all to say, I picked a song from the game A Boy and His Blob back on the NES. David Crane's A Boy and His Blob, Trouble on Blobolonia. This track is called Cyborg Blobby by Mazedude. This is a weird track. Mazedude always has a style where the songs always feel off kilter and strange to listen to, and I really dig his style. This one keeps right in line with that. So never played the game A Boy and His Blob, but you know, I just watched A Boy and His Dog, and I just had to throw something in for this episode. So, this is Cyborg Blobby by Mazedude from ocremix.org from the game A Boy and His Blob. That was Cyborg Blobby by Mazedude from ocremix.org from the game A Boy and His Blob. Trouble on Blobolonia. That's silly. We have a high-octane track up next, Holographic Projection by Sir Nuts and Stephen Kelly, remixing the track Unetco from Deus Ex, which is an older game from the year 2000, 20 years ago. Deus Ex is 20 years old, and I only played it like a year or two ago, and it really stood up to the test of time. I was shocked. I even feel like I could replay it again. It's amazing that a game that came out 20 years ago, on the cusp of the graphics that they're using, 2 years after Half-Life and all this, it did something so unique that still feels unique, even in 2020. It was generally exciting to play. Once I got past the opening mission and really started to see the game open up, had an effect on me. It made me want to reread Neuromancer. It made me want to rewatch The Matrix. The atmosphere is still so vivid and tactile. You can kind of feel it. You can see all the colors and just know exactly where you are. So this is Holographic Projection by Sir Nuts and Stephen Kelly from ocremix.org from the game Deus Ex.
safety warning. Normal levels will be exceeded in 3, 2,
That was Holographic Projection by Sir Nuts and Stephen Kelly from ocremix.org from the game Deus Ex. 20 years old. This futuristic cyberpunk game is 20 years old. Brand new to the site of Overclocked Remix is Cossack Skies by Bisalmaz13. He's remixing the game Mega Man 4, whose soundtrack was originally Mane Fuji. It's a very chill synth piece that has a very spacey vibe, I think. It reminds me a bit of some of the more down-tempo tracks from Faster Than Light, where you've kind of got an empty star field to just kind of cruise through. The Mega Man games are always pretty fast-paced, but this track kind of slows it all down, really creates a relaxing tune out of it. So this is Cossack Skies Cubed. There's a 2 there, so it must stand for Cubed. Cossack Skies Cubed by Bisalmaz13 from ocremix.org from the game Mega Man 4. That was Cossack Skies 2, or Cubed, by Basalmoth13 from ocremix.org from the game Mega Man 4. That was 1991. They kept cranking out those Mega Man games on the NES for years. Even after the Super Nintendo was out, Mega Man was still kicking on the NES. From Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest, there's Dance of the Zinger by Jake Kaufman. This is remixing the track Flight of the Zinger, Hornet Hole, by David Wise. The Zingers were always so terrifying in the Donkey Kong Country games. Just those flying bees, the one with spikes when they were red. Oh man, I don't know. There's just something so primal and terrifying about Wasp and Hornets that to put them in Donkey Kong and make them so big, more frightening than the crocodiles. You had to go underwater in Donkey Kong to find creepier, scarier villains than the Zingers in Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 2. This is from the album Donkey Kong Country 2 Serious Monkey Business, which is a fantastic album remixing the entirety of Donkey Kong Country 2, so definitely check it out. Heavy piece, there's some trance in this. It's aggressive. It fits with the aggressiveness of the Zingers from those games. So this is Dance of the Zinger by Jake Kaufman from ocremix.org from the game Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. That was Dance of the Zinger by Jake Kaufman from ocremix.org from the game Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Kong Quest. Usually we always require at least one Final Fantasy game being represented here. I've got two this week. I just felt like having a beautiful piano piece on. It's called One Dream, One Destiny by Bluelighter from Final Fantasy X, remixing Daughter of the Great Summoner and Someday the Dream Will End. It's kind of a solemn piano piece for a while, and then you can kind of feel this impressionist style taking hold, and near the end it really gets a bit more energetic, a bit more waltzy, and there's just some really wonderful, beautiful pieces of inspiration being played through this piano piece. I hope you enjoy this. It's One Dream, One Destiny by Bluelighter from ocremix.org from the game Final Fantasy X. That was One Dream, One Destiny by Bluelighter from ocremix.org from the game Final Fantasy X. I still need to play Final Fantasy X too. Up next is a track that feels like it came right from the 80s, but it actually was the last song of last year from OC Remix. It's called 89 is the New 19 by Sir Nuts and Stephen Kelly. It's from a game called Shadow of the Beast, which was on the Amiga in 1989. The track was actually by David Whittaker called The Forest. This track is pure 80s synth, and there's a bit of disco in there, but the thing I hear the most is the Knight Rider theme, or at least inspiration from the Knight Rider theme being played through this. This is 89 is the new 19 by Sir Nuts and Stephen Kelly from ocremix.org from the game Shadow of the Beast. That was 89 is the New 19 by Sir Nuts and Stephen Kelly from ocremix.org from the game Shadow of the Beast. Up next, we have a track from The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. This is called Rime of the Wandering Seafarer by zykO. This is a strange piece. It's a long piece. It's acoustic. It's got original lyrics. It feels like a seafaring folk song with somebody just on the water singing about their adventures or retelling a story they've heard from old. Your feelings of the vocal work might vary, but I really think this is just such an interesting song and one that kind of fits the spirit of The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker when you're on the high seas and you just feel like a pirate, like an adventurer on the water. It really takes the Dragon Roost Island theme and the title theme from Wind Waker and makes it something that feels older than the game. Yeah, especially at the end, it really starts to become a bit more epic and you can hear some heavier percussions coming in. So this is Rime of the Wandering Seafarer by zykO from ocremix.org from the game The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker.
Another island we row, boys, seek what terror lurks in stone, to save a girl from a dragon, and aptly reap what you've sown, what we have sown. Worlds free. A legend speaks for me, who is set free. So now tell of ghosts and bones, for ancient world hides below, a faceless foe, an ageless throw, your destiny waits in the fold, in the fold. Now on this new day, a cold wind blows, and comes and calls you out to go and save a girl and the world too. And don't you know that's how it's told? That's just how it's told. Legends speak of she who sets hearts a legend speaks of thee who set her free. such a way through those to find that there's so much more. It's destiny that you behold. Destiny you behold. Legends tale of strength which sets souls free. Legend speaks of he who climbs with me.
That was Rime of the Wanderin Seafarer by zykO from ocremix.org from the game The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. And that was the last song of Radio 64 this episode. Thank you again for listening. Radio 64 is part of the Radio Meanwhile network. Please visit radiomeanwhile.com for more information about this and other great podcasts. You can find past episodes of Radio 64 on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Thank you to WRAQ 92.7 FM in Angelica, New York for hosting us every Monday at 6 p.m. I've been your host, Eric Mickles, known online as duskvstweak. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube there. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time.